Okay. All right. It is 6:33. I'll be generous and give until 6:34, and then we will get things kicked off. Okay, 6:34. All right, I am going to call the order the George Washington Middle School PTA general meeting. This meeting, what we're going to do is we're going to focus on one subject, and I'm not going to have any real committee reports from the other PTA members on the board because I think this subject is not only timely, it's going to be dominating our near future for the seeable future, and that is AI. We are fortunate and lucky to have Julie Kelleher. She will be conducting tonight's meeting on AI, and this because AI is so big and expansive in terms of its universe and what it's capable of. We're going to break it up into segments throughout the year, and tonight's introduction to AI will focus on the benefits of using AI to help your kids with their homework. And also, Julie will go over a few other items with regards to AI. Um, Before we get into Julie's introduction and let Julie take the stage, we have to do just a bit of PTA work, and that is approval of November minutes. However, bit of a caveat to the PTA approval of the November minutes. That was the meeting conducted by the FBI at George Washington Middle School, and they asked that we not take notes regarding the subject matter that was covered. So, with respect to them and their wishes, um, the, though we're approving them, there is, in a sense, no meeting notes for the November meeting. But we will have meeting notes for the next one. All right. Um, without going any further, I think we got that wrapped up because I wanted to make that statement regarding approval of the PTA minutes. We want to approve them, but there's no minutes to approve. Nonetheless, we will keep going forward. Um, Now we will get um, to the reason for our general PTA meeting tonight, and that is AI. If you don't use it at work, at school, at home, you soon will be using it. Um, it is advocated for use in just about everywhere I've seen, from my workplace to school to other items, because used correctly, it can be incredibly beneficial. And so we are fortunate tonight to have Julie Kelleher conduct tonight's meeting, and I will be turning it over to her. After which, um, I probably want to hold um, questions and answers till the end of our presentation. Uh, it should be we've earmarked around 30 minutes to get through this, but it's incredibly informative. All right, Julie, it is yours to go. Ready to go?
Awesome. Thank you. I am. Yeah. So, hi everyone. Thanks for letting me join and and share some things that I've learned and that I'm a big fan of. So, I have some slides that I'm going to share, but this is not going to be like a big presentation. And I'll use them to introduce myself a little bit more. And what I really want to do is show you all a way that I have really benefited from what I call parent-led AI assisted personalized learning, helping my sixth grader at GW study for tests and homework prep and all of that. So I'm gonna share my screen and let's see, bear with me. And I do want I want this to be for you all. I want this to be something that anybody who's here finds value from. So feel free to pop questions in the chat. I may not be able to moderate it just from a if I'm looking at my screen, but I want to be a resource for all of you. And I'll introduce myself in a minute. I have a slide that kind of helps visually represent it too. Okay, here we go. Share. And okay. Can everybody see my screen? It's a big Canvas slide that says AI for middle school parents.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, great. And I'm not going to go into full screen because I've got all these tabs open here. And if you use Canva, don't worry. I don't have 127 slides that I'm going to present to you. This is just like my bank of a lot of things. So really tonight, I'm here and I reached out to LeBaron in the fall, I think, to just, kind of uh, offer what I've learned to the PTA, to the GW middle school parent community and caregiver community because I've found this to be tremendously helpful. So the focus really will be on AI assisted parent led studying powered by a tool called NotebookLM. And then I will spend a little bit of time in the beginning just kind of sharing just sharing a little bit about AI before we dive right in. So quick intro. So I'm Julie Kelleher. I am a mom of two. So I have a sixth grader at GW, a third grader at Cora Kelly. I actually started my career as a middle school teacher, so it's all coming back now that I've got a middle schooler. And I have to say, I'm so impressed with how well GW is run, especially with how many kids go there. Like I'm just like blown away. Um, I have worked in education technology. So after teaching for 5 years, I entered the education technology space. So I have worked for 19 years with companies and nonprofits that bring technology to schools, universities, et cetera. So most recently, I worked at Dreambox Learning and was focused on so Dreambox, I know ACPS had Dreambox and a reading product as well. So and then right now I'm a consultant. I have my own business and I have created last year I created likeamother.ai, which is really intended to provide resources for families around AI based on all that I've learned. And so, two things I will say: I'm not an AI expert at all. I just spend a lot of time reading, writing, and thinking about it, and I use it in work, parenting, and everyday life. And so I want to share that with people. And two, I'm not a parenting expert. So anything that I share is not like I am definitely not a parenting expert. And so my kind of point of view when it comes to AI is if you're familiar with the terminology in the AI world of being the human in the loop, that's where, there's a human who's involved in vetting the input and vetting the output to make sure that it's accurate and, not filled with hallucinations and bias and things like that. Um, my perspective when I talk to families is I want to honor your parenting approach, your values, your style. So I want to share what I know, but it's totally up to you if you want to use it or not. And that goes with what I'm going to show today too. I have found it tremendously helpful, uh, and it's totally up to you if you want to use it or not. So that's kind of my little intro there. Um, so just to kind of kick us off, these are actual quotes that came out of the mouths of my children in 2025. So, one at the top, my then fifth grader, I was doing voice mode while waiting in the carpool line to pick up my other daughter. And I was talking, and she grabbed the phone and she said, ChatGPT, are you real? Which I loved because gave me this view into, oh my goodness, in their world, they're trying to understand this technology all around us. And they're just straight up asking it, are you real? Later, I found out my now third grader asked Alexa where Alexa lives, and she said Alexa lives in the clouds. So
Oh.
then I know. Um, I only found out she asked her where she lived later. I shouldn't say her. She asked Alexa where Alexa lives. Um, then one day we were talking about like what kind of soup she should have if she wasn't feeling well, and she said just ask Alexa. She knows everything. That's that's concerning. Um, Middle school quote, right around the time Sora 2 came out, if anybody's familiar with that, when just like AI generated video that was just like fascinating and horrifying at the same time. Um, Kids were talking about it at the middle school. People are talking a lot about AI at school, about people using AI to create videos, to trick people. And she even said to me, why do you support it? So I, explained to her, like, I'm trying to help people understand what I've learned so they can decide what to do. And then most recently was fascinating. We were listening to a song and my third grader goes, that sounds like an AI voice. So what I love about this is like I'm getting a glimpse into their world. I mean, I'm a Gen Xer, right? Like I am not. They're even beyond digital natives. Like they only know a world with robots around them, voice assistants, things like that. And so seeing how they are just directly curious and ask questions, I just love it. So I wanted to start there and then ask, what are your kids saying about AI? If you all want to pop it in the chat, I know there's not a lot of people here. If people want to just kind of go off mute and share something, like what are your middle schoolers saying about AI, if anything?
Oh, Julie, I'll tell you what my kid said. My kid is because she's a future screenwriter. So right now, she's not the biggest fan of AI because she feels it could threaten creativity.
Hmm. Yeah. And that's so valid. So valid. All right. So we don't have to spend a bunch of time here, but feel free to pop stuff in later. So I love to say this. So the job description of parents and caregivers and educators, anybody working with kids, our job description has expanded exponentially and nobody gave us a guide. So we have new, things that we have to be responsible for now are like AI ethics. Is this just what you just described? Career futurist, like we've all seen I mean, if you've seen it, like 80% of the jobs in 2030 don't exist yet. We have to be a digital risk manager, like, making sure that whatever they think they saw on somebody else's screen is true or not. And how do they figure that out? An information literacy detective, a screen time moderator. I mean, the list goes on, but I just want to acknowledge like our job description has expanded. It is harder, and that's another reason why I'm doing this because I just want to share what I've learned. And hopefully it can help people. So why AI literacy for families now? Why in 2026? And I think this slide, I'm going to go full screen because it's a little bit small. This is a very high level, like Julie Kelleher version of what the past 3 years, not past, sorry, not past 3 years. Oh yeah, past 3 years. About how AI has kind of showed up, right? So in 2022, November of 2022, ChatGPT launched, and that just led to this explosion. And all the others followed: Claude, Gemini, Copilot, more and more. And the impact was this huge wave of early adopters using it for, work, school, everyday life. Then really 2024, 2025, we started to see AI assisted learning tools, AI generated content, AI embedded features in these everyday tools that we use, both learning tools and just, at home apps that we use. And simultaneously, we've started to see this increase in awareness of the threats and the risks associated with AI access and use, especially for kids. And that is, like, to be honest, that keeps me up at night. So, that we've seen that. So we're learning. And now in 2026, it's just the rapid rate, it's just showing up in everyday tools and apps without people being able to acknowledge I want it or I don't want it. School, home, work, social experiences. And our kids are exposed to AI across many facets of their life, with or without us knowing, or with or without supervision. And that's just the reality, right? And so what do we do with that? I don't have the answer, by the way. I'm just trying to. It's very fluid in our world. Okay, so now, this is gonna be the last slide, and then I'm gonna go into the product demo, I promise. But I put together this SWOT, this strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities and threats diagram when I participated in a AI literacy train the trainers program in the fall. And as part of my final project, I, did a whole thing on AI literacy for middle school families and parents. And I put this together. And, I'm not going to spend time talking through all of this. The reality is there are strengths, uh, but there are real weaknesses and real threats. And we're not going to spend a lot of time on that today. Actually, we're not going to spend any time on that today. But this is the kind of stuff that I also want to help build awareness around. And I don't have the answers. And it's just, I've tried to aggregate the information and help people understand what I've learned and, share what I'm learning with other parents who are kind of doing the same thing. But today I'm going to focus on the opportunities because there are great opportunities. One, for when it comes to how we can support our kids at home, And the one that I love is for personalized learning. And so I'm going to share with you all something that I have been tinkering with for a while. And it's now like our go-to tool when we need to study. And so before I jump in, can anybody just put in the chat like a Y or an N if you have heard of NotebookLM? Okay, great. Great. Okay. I didn't want to describe something if a lot of people had already heard of it. Great. Awesome. Okay. So Notebook LM, and if you want to follow along, if you're on a laptop or something, you can go and you can access it yourself. As long as you have a Google account, you can have a Notebook LM account. It is a free tool by Google, and it is, as it describes on its website, your AI powered research partner. And um, this is just if you're going to navigate through it, like this is what it looks like. It is so simple and so easy to use. I actually used it when it first rolled out in probably or in 20, I think it rolled out in 2024. And I just remember noticing how simple and easy it was to use. So not surprising from Google. And as long as you have a Google account, you can access it for free. So, and this is just that I'm gonna skip this part. Okay. No, wait a second. What's happening here? Why are okay. Sorry about that. Okay. So I'm gonna pop into some of these tabs here on how I'm calling it AI assisted parent-led studying powered by Notebook LM. So two things before I do that. What is it and why does it matter? So it is a free browser-based AI tool from Google. That's a mouthful, and I work in technology, so I might be throwing out way too many tech words, but it just means that if you can access Google, you can access Notebook LM. And what it does is it uses AI to help understand notes, articles, videos that you upload. So that's what I absolutely love about it. And that's why I endorse it and I use it at home with my own daughter because I call it a closed system. It's only using AI to accelerate the aggregation and synthesis and creation of materials related to what you upload. And then this is my favorite part. It creates all these different study aids based on what you want or what your child wants or what, and there's even more since I took this screenshot. There's, they've been adding new ones. And so it really allows for personalized learning with existing materials that are provided by the teachers and the parents can put them in there. So last thing, why do I love it? It's closed to only sources provided by the teacher. If we're talking about it in a school learning context, it supports what I like parent-led and parent-directed study. So if you don't have the time to do it, you don't have the capacity to do it, then this may not be the right tool for you. But if you do, if you sometimes have these kind of like head-butting homework wars with your children, I don't think anybody has any of those, uh, especially a middle schooler when it's test time. This can help. This can help. And I have personally seen a shift, not a huge one, but in engagement and motivation, especially when it's 8 o'clock at night and we have to study for that history test. And these are the benefits I wasn't even expecting. She has more self-awareness of her preferred study mode, and I get visibility into that too. So I'm going to stop there and I'm going to jump right in and just show you what I mean. So I will show you actually, she had a test today. So this is, and actually I should say, so Ms. Vincent, is it okay if I'm showing a notebook that has content in it that was provided by a teacher from GW?
Yes, but the test, it might still be, if she had the test today, are there
It's a makeup
makeups?
test. It's a makeup
Okay.
from before the holidays. But you know what? To be safe, I will just do this one. I'll just do this one because I made up this one. This is not from stuff provided by
Okay.
GW. Okay. I meant to ask you ahead of time. So um, but yeah, so this is an example of a a German study guide. So what I have done, so I'll walk you through this. And actually I could even start over here. So this is how you would start if you have a notebook. And you are invited, the first thing you're invited to do is add sources. You can upload sources, you can link to Google Drive. Because it's Google, you can add YouTube. You can just paste text in here. So that's how I created this German notebook. And so all I did was I went and got a bunch of German vocabulary words online. So this was not using content from GW, but what you could do is my daughter takes Latin, take the PDF of Latin vocabulary, upload it in here. And remember, this is closed. This is just your account. Only you can access it. And so these are the sources I've added, but I could have 50, 100, many, many sources. So your sources show up here and you can expand it and collapse it. I should also have said I don't work for Google. I'm like, this is just, I'm just a parent who loves this tool. So you can expand it, you can collapse it. I actually don't really use this chat much. This is like my least favorite. It's just because for the what I'm trying to use it for, I don't find it helpful. Um, but this is where the magic happens, right? So I've uploaded, and you can even see the source. Like I clicked on it. I literally just copied all of these words from a website in here, just copied and pasted them. So now they're in here. And, it's giving you all of these clues. It's telling you, oh, this source has these things. It looks like it's got German to English translations. So it's already like, there's all these built-in kind of descriptions for you. But here's the magic. So I have already I've created some of these because they take about 30 to 90 seconds to create. But what I could do, I'm gonna start one just so you see. So for vocabulary, I personally like a mind map. So I would just click on mind map and see when I hover over it, it has this pop-up that says generate an AI mind map based on your sources. So click on that. So I've already done it. So I'm going to show you what one looks like. This is my favorite. So I was a middle school teacher and I love visual stuff. So like I'm very biased in this regard. Um, but this takes a wall of words in no particular order and organizes it in a mind map in less than 90 seconds. And then I can help her study and say, okay, let's start with numbers. All right, let's go to numbers. All right, I'm going to click on numbers and you say the numbers out loud to me and I'm going to tell you if they're right or wrong. Right? So I took German, so eins, zwei, drei, like I could help her with this part. And then I could say, now let's focus on colors. So then we can go through colors. Now let's focus on days of the week. So this is just like it's a way to take the content that has been provided by the teacher that and turn it into a study tool that might be more engaging or that your child may be more interested in. So that's one example, the mind map. And let's see, look, already that one that I just started, it's done right here. So I don't know how long I was talking, but that happened. You can also create flashcards. And I know there's flashcards built into, Canvas and everything, which is awesome. But if your child prefers flashcards, super simple. What I love about this is with this explain part here, you don't have to be the subject matter expert, right? So maybe your child is studying German and you don't know German. So they say this and they don't get it right. You can get the explanation. So it's to me, when I talk about parent-led AI assisted, it helps the parent learn to be a better tutor for their child too. So that's just, and I know I'm flying through this and there's a lot of content that I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on, but I just want to kind of give you a flavor. So we covered flashcards, the mind map. Then we have a quiz. So standard quiz format. And here's what surprised me when I talked about those secondary benefits. I just assumed incorrectly that my child would like a mind map and flashcards. And her preference is a quiz. Her preference is to be able to go and take a quiz and go through these things. Um, and and so now when we study, like when we're prepping for a test, I've created the notebook. She's helped me find the materials. I've created the notebook, and she will choose which of these she wants to use. So we've covered flashcards, quiz, infographic. Then it gets really fascinating because you could create a video overview and an audio overview. So in the audio, you can actually ask it to it's like a podcast, a lively conversation between two hosts, a critique, a debate. So imagine like a debate. How many, subjects in middle school have great opportunities to teach kids debate and establishing a point of view. And so this is a way to reinforce critical thinking in a just a different modality. So this becomes a podcast. And with this feature, you can actually specify. So I could say, this is just a sample, prompt here, but you could specify focus only on German colors and numbers, right? That would be probably a really boring podcast, but that's just an example. You can create slide decks. You can create, I haven't tried data table yet. You can create reports. And so for me, I'm not going to go through the other tabs because those are with actual content from the teachers and, I'd want to have permission for all of that first. But I'll tell you by subject area, the report is great for math. So we received a great study guide from her math teacher, and instead of me having to make up additional problems that are similar to the topic they're trying to demonstrate, mastery of, you can create a report that will just generate those for you. So to me, again, it allows me to work alongside her and learn alongside her. I don't have to do the prep. I don't have to create manual flashcards. I don't have to come up with new questions to reinforce topics that she may be stuck on. And I also get to see how she likes to learn. And it's been pretty fascinating. So I would say the video overview is really fun with history, really fun, because you can create a prompt that's like, I've done prompts that are like, create a video that really focuses on storytelling and, to highlight the four explorers that we're studying and use mnemonic devices. Like, and it does it. It's amazing. Yeah,
Julie,
yeah,
quick question.
yeah,
On the creating of a video,
yeah,
can you create one and let one play for, I don't know, 5 or 10 seconds so you
yeah.
get an idea what it looks like? Is
Um, I have one from US history last quarter.
You didn't use that one. Doesn't matter.
Is that okay?
Yeah,
This
that's
makes sense?
perfectly fine.
Okay. So this is, yeah, Q1 US history. This was when it really like, and I can actually show you. I don't know if the audio is going to come through, but this is the one I'll show you. This was the prompt I used. I put, make this fun and engaging for a sixth grader. Actually, I won't show that prompt because I was like, she's not super excited about the content, but I was like, make it fun and engaging. And then, and I said, focus on the explorers through storytelling. And this was all based on the content provided by her teacher. And
Picture this, a high
can you
stakes
hear?
race, not for some little trophy, but for an entire continent.
Is the audio coming through?
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, I'll play it.
The prize wasn't a gold medal. It was actual gold and new lands and, bragging rights for your country. So who were the main players in this insane race to map a brand new world? And what were they really hoping to find? I mean, let's be real for a second. Forget your math homework. What if your teacher handed you an actual treasure map and said, go find it? Suddenly, homework is the coolest thing ever, right? Well, for a few key people in history, that was literally their job. For these four explorers,
So I'm gonna fast forward. There was a part here that was like,
whatever you do, don't come back
this is where
explorers out onto the field with one simple order. Go find new stuff, claim it for us, and whatever you do, don't come back empty-handed. All right, let's meet our first player. Stepping up to the plate for Team Spain, we've got Francisco Coronado, a guy with a serious, serious case of gold fever.
So that's just an example of like, all like it's actually taking the
See, in
PDF,
15
sorry, it's taking the PDFs from the class, but then it's also putting together these other visuals, like a timeline. And I mean, to me, even just like bringing that story to life, I
Wow.
would be more likely to remember that he was looking for gold if I watched that. So that's just an example. And this was just version one. You can, sorry, hold on, I gotta stop this. Sorry. That was version one. Then you can go back and you can change it. Like this one, I made I think it was a slide deck on, um, yeah, the slide content is amazing. I mean, this is just all of this stuff. If you haven't ever seen this before, this is a bit jaw-dropping that it can do this in, the videos and audio, the podcast, those take maybe 3 to 5 minutes, but still, um, This is again taking all the content that was provided by the teacher. So again, like teacher approved, parent approved, um, and then created just telling the story in a different way. So it's a way for them, our kids, to experience and relearn and practice that same content, but in all these different modalities to help it stick.
So, like, hold a quick question. When you say that it's a teacher provided, what do you mean by that? Like, where are you getting teacher provided content?
Yeah, so from Canvas. So I can go in to Canvas via PowerSchool and I can access all of her courses and then I can download the materials. And because of uh, security reasons, like she can't download them to her Chromebook and email them to me, which I totally, that's how it should be. So, but I can access it as a parent and I can download it. And sometimes if I can't, I've just emailed the teacher. So, and teachers have been so responsive. Like I've asked for vocabulary for, for foreign language and I received it. So I was able to populate the notebook. I have asked for the math study guide. So even sometimes if the content is embedded in the learning management system in a way where you can't download it, you can always ask.
This is incredible, Julie, and you kind of hit on it a little bit. Were you doing this on their Chromebook or you doing it on your computer?
Yeah, so this is all on my computer. So
Mhm.
yeah, because I don't think they have this. No, they don't have this. So I am getting the information. I mean, so this setup for like, for this history notebook, for example, this was for the whole quarter. And so I went and pulled all the materials from the whole quarter in all the different um, like weekly modules. I don't know if I'm using the right term, but like for a big math test, there was one big study guide provided. So that was amazing. I could just upload that PDF here and then create all these different types of study guides to reinforce the concepts.
You, by the way, do win Super Parent of the Year award.
No, I mean it's helped me a lot. It's helped like there's a lot the studying experience has improved for everyone. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. I'm thinking about even just, you talk about the language. I've got a student that's really struggling in Spanish, and, this might be a way to help bring it alive for them.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And yeah, and I haven't actually tried the audio podcast in another language, but I did share this with another GW middle school parent, and she helped her son use the German one, and I think that he could actually even talk into it. So I think there might even be a way that your child can practice the voice in a closed space. So again, like they do not use, my kids will not use any of these consumer AI tools. I will use it and they can watch me use it, like ChatGPT, Claude, all those things. But this is one that like I'm controlling the content. I know how the AI is using the content to create these resources, and I'm sitting alongside her. Now, we've reached a point, we've been using this probably since October pretty consistently for across all the subjects. So she now knows, like I get the notebook ready and she practices and then we kind of work through it. But what was awesome, I mean, one great example is we prepped for this test before the break, and then she was unable to go to school the day the test happened. So she's making it up almost a month later. She took it today, and I didn't have to do any prep. Already had the notebook ready. I just popped it open last night, and it was, I mean, those are the things that are just like they were unimaginable when 5 years ago, 3 years ago, they and I think we're just scratching the surface with the potential. And this is very, I think it's super easy to use as long as somebody has internet access, a Google account, and some of the materials provided by the teachers.
Hey, Julie, I want you to quickly, with what you just said, what you just shown, I want you to start this all over and just say, start from A and go to C as far as uploading and then trying to do the different tasks related to it.
Yeah.
So we can reinforce it for ourselves because this right here is unbelievably creative tool.
Yeah, so I've got one ready for that right here. Let's see. Which screen can you see? Can you see US history?
Yes.
Okay. So, all right, so here's an untitled notebook. And I'm just going to show you too. So it really is like a stack of notebooks, right? So here's my whole list. I mean, I use this for work. I use it for a lot of things, but these are all my notebooks. Right? Hopefully at some point they will have a way that we can organize them into folders because that's a really long list. But um, if I go to it, like I've named the ones, you can name them easily. So like anything that is for her, like that's middle school math, middle school Latin. So I can easily find them. But I'm going to go to this untitled one and I'm going to upload a source. And I have you can see this, right? I don't see the green screen around it, but okay. I have um, a German vocabulary PDF that I'm going to upload. I don't think you can see this, what I'm doing, but I'm just uploading this from my desktop.
You can see that.
Oh, you can. Okay, great. So here, so it's uploading the document. It's telling you what kind of source it is. I have noticed not all sources are like some PDFs that might have some sort of like um, fillable text, like fillable boxes. It doesn't like those. Like some of the PDFs aren't accepted um, because I think they have some sort of dynamic component to them, but I mean, it has not slowed us down at all. Um, I haven't tried this, like search the web for news sources. I'm not doing that for this purpose because this purpose is for me to reinforce for her the content provided by her teacher. But you could add multiple sources. Like if I were to copy, let me just grab some text over here. So, German vocabulary. I just want to show you how easy this is too. So, German vocabulary, 6th grade. So I'm just going to a different browser and I'm going to grab a bunch of words. And okay, here, school and classroom. So I'm just copying and pasting these. So here's a bunch of German words about the school and the classroom. You don't have to worry about formatting, insert. So those have been added too. So you see it's got the German vocabulary, the additional words that I found. And then, this chat tells you what's going on. It throws the German flag in there. And then out of the gate, you're invited to go and create things in the studio. And as I showed you before, like the infographic, I typically start there. Then we can go flashcards. And also because it takes a little while, 90 seconds to a few minutes. I just start clicking on them, depending on if it's like a brand new topic. So we've got an infographic, a mind map. Oh, I forgot to show you all the infographic. That's one of my favorites. So we'll let this one populate and I'll show you that one. It's one of my all-time favorites. A slide deck, so that and I would just recommend come in and play. And it is, I think I've spent less, 30 minutes on this and probably only 15 minutes in this product, in this tool. And look, our mind map's already ready. Let's take a look at it. Here we go. Okay. So we've got topic, life at home. Oh, but those aren't German. Hold on a second. My parents should be involved too. So this is interesting. And I don't know why that's happening. Okay. Let's do this is why we always have to check. There needs to be a human in the loop and the parent in the loop. Let's take a look at the flashcards. I wonder if the content that I put in there wasn't good. No, this is German word for school. Flashcards are ready, notebook. And then let's see if the infographic's ready. No, that's going to take a moment. But yeah, so that just shows you how easy it is. And everything is saved. And if you don't like it, then you can delete it. Like that, I don't know what happened with that mind map, but that's not helpful. So I'm going to delete it. And that's as easy as it is. So, for parents, probably the most time consuming part will be to just get the content from the LMS from Canvas, just because, it might live in different places. But I feel really fortunate that our, GW has all of this technology, that our teachers are so transparent with all of the content, and if I can't download it easily, that, the teachers that we're working with this year provide it right away. And so I'll show, okay, so here's the infographic. Infographics are my all-time favorite. So again, like if there's kind of like a disconnect with the content, if the words are just not coming to life for the child, here's another way that it can happen visually. Then they could have I mean, this is clearly my preferred learning style. So I love this. And it really makes it easy, especially if it's a language that you don't speak. You can help them study because there are visuals that don't require you to be fluent in that language. LeBaron, did I miss anything?
No, Julie, I'm still mesmerized. I am. Um, yeah, I could easily get looped into this one little subject for hours on end. Um, but also I want to be mindful of this information being effectively digested by the parents for use. Not being presented this information and not using it. Um, uh, I don't want it to be a waste. I want parents to know that this tool is out there. This incredibly effective tool, at least from my thoughts, for use. Yeah, Julie, you were covering things the way I wanted them to be covered for this session because AI is something that just can, as far as from a learning perspective, it's not going to happen in half hour to 45 minutes, but it will kickstart, hopefully, uh, just trying to get this done because this is an effective tool. Um, Considering we're right at about almost around that 45-minute area. Uh, but Julie, I want you just to spend like maybe another 5 more minutes on this as far as overview. Um, and then, we can work on the other parts later. But I just almost like this, like as a wrap up refresher for those here that are seeing this presentation.
Okay. So do you want me to spend a little bit more time in a notebook or to kind of talk more about, okay.
No,
Um,
five, just a
yeah,
few more minutes in the
yeah,
notebook. And then we can go.
sure. And actually, why don't we, like, we can make it interactive. So I just went through a big demo from, where I sit, but if, this is new for a lot of people, is there anything that you wanted me to kind of pause on and spend a little bit more time on?
Um, I think I don't want to use the word hard, but like a ramping up to learning AI from and using Notebook LM, just from the standpoint of downloading or getting Notebook LM, uploading the information or resources, and then from the process of then creating. Because once you upload everything, it'll start to auto create in the studio. That's where this gets incredibly interesting as far as an effective tool.
Yeah.
Um, so when you upload your resources, the studio is going to start populating the other tools that can be used from the infographics to the visual to the flashcards and to
So
the quizzes. Correct?
So you choose, you basically activate those features in the studio.
Okay.
So
Okay.
but yeah, so that I'm glad you brought that up. So if I were to I'm just gonna do the simple copied text again. What's this?
Mhm.
It's gonna be super basic, right? So I copied a bunch of text that's some German vocabulary, but this could easily be an uploaded PDF. Um, so here's my notebook, and then so this over here, this has confirmed that it's been uploaded. Now I can come over to the studio. So these same 9 features, and they keep adding them, by the way, like infographic, slide deck, and data table were not in here 3 months ago. Um, but these are consistent across every notebook you create.
Okay.
So you can then come in, like when I showed you earlier, I just start to create some of these because I know they're going to take a little while. And then if it has this little pencil, then you can create a prompt for it. like the mind map, it's not, you can't customize it, but like an infographic, I'll just show you this. We could do concise and focus only on, this is not going to be a lot because there aren't a lot of words in here. Focus, uh, actually, let's try that. Let's use blue and yellow, use blue and yellow colors. I mean, you can really tell it what you want. So, and this is actually a really fun way to teach, to kind of model responsible AI use with kids. If you want to, you can teach them how to prompt appropriately by showing them how you could do a customized prompt in here. And what could be fun is maybe you generate an audio overview and they hear something and then they're like, actually, I want to hear what a debate sounds like. I want to hear what this sounds like. And you can kind of work with them on, all right, how would we describe what you want to hear? And so the prompting skills that they'll develop in here is just another added benefit. So it's taking a while because I gave it a custom prompt. And like a slide deck, we could do that. And you can choose, like, I want it to just be visual slides. I want it to be short. I've actually never tried another language. Let's see what it's like in German. I've never done that. It's very fun too.
Yeah, I'm seeing that you can, you can definitely play around with this.
Well, and I use it for work to like take really complex concepts and break them down. All right, so I said use blue and yellow. So this is, I mean, this is a very basic infographic because I just added probably like 10 vocabulary words. So it did an okay job using blue and yellow. But it's nice, like,
Yeah,
I could teach any language. I could help reinforce any language,
yeah,
be it with a tool like this.
yeah. Okay.
Um,
All right.
So, and so that's an example of how you can choose these, and then if you don't like it, you can delete it. And one other thing that I don't use that often, but I will show is like here, if I have, let me do a flashcards maybe. Actually, I'll just show you over here. I mean, you can also just use a regular chat here, right? I could say, what are the essential German vocab words for a middle schooler? And then I don't know if you saw, but it said one source. So it's telling you what source it's coming from, which that's another reason why I advocate for this, because you can track where it came from. Unlike ChatGPT, where like 60% of the information comes from Reddit. Like, there's a lot of inaccurate stuff out there. But here it gave an overview, like for a middle schooler beginning their studies. So that's another way where like you could, let's say it's a subject like math, a certain math topic that you don't remember from your schooling. You could just start in the chat and even say, how do I help my middle schooler study? And if you like this, then you can save this note, and then that note gets saved in your studio. So it really is kind of like this physical, the physical experience we remember of using a notebook. And some of those components still carry through, like, oh, there's a sticky note. I'm going to put it over here.
Okay. Very good. All right, Julie, very good. All right, that was good. Okay, you were going to cover one additional part of AI tonight. Is that correct?
I don't think so. Unless did you want me to?
No.
Yeah.
Because I want to make sure it's not too much information overload with a new subject. But I think there's been enough information presented that may pique the curiosity of parents going forward.
Yeah.
Right now, got some minutes. I want to open it up to the floor of parents out there. If you guys want to ask Julie a question regarding NotebookLM and the use of AI, you can either put it in the chat. Okay, we have our first person. Sue, take yourself off of mute.
Oh, sorry. Hi.
Hey.
I was just curious because I saw this was a Google. This is the first time I'm hearing of this, first of all, and thank you so much. But I saw this as a Google product also, maybe. But my question is it only what you feed it that it helps you organize like for your student
Yes.
from that perspective. So I'm thinking of like things like science fair, like how like how it could help students like do outlines and things like that with new topics, not something that you're like feeding, information like that's something like the German or the Spanish or what have you.
So
Kind of organize them in a way to like complete tasks is what I find the hardest thing for my middle schooler.
yeah. I haven't used it in that way, but I know that I'm probably only using like 5% of its
Okay.
capacity.
I was
But
just
yeah,
curious if you knew.
yeah. I bet there is. And one thing you could do too with that is this was an example of like using content to study for a test, right? For across all these subjects. But
Right.
if there is you could also just upload a syllabus, you could upload the requirements for the science fair, and
All
then
right.
you could and
Wow.
and potentially, have like work with that as an example, and potentially add sources. And in that case, it wouldn't necessarily need to be teacher provided sources, but if your child's really interested in volcanoes, then you can go grab those sources. And this is like, I would still advocate you find those, or if they find them, if you approve of them, you upload them, and then I would imagine that within this tool, you could kind of guide your child through that. I would love to actually look into that and follow up with you. Um, I'm happy to do that if there's a way to follow up with you directly, because
Sure. Thank you.
that's an interesting use case.
Let me see, let me check the chat box, see if there's any questions there that weren't, hold on. Um, Principal Vincent, I'm going to ask you a question because it's sort of geared towards the educational platform. Um, are there any, are you aware if there's going to be any classes at the middle school level that will be teaching AI or incorporating it more as a forward class?
So not at this time. I don't, we haven't had any conversations around courses at the middle school level that's going to be teaching AI. Right now, the teachers are learning more about it, learning about the different platforms and how they can leverage it to um, to enhance their teaching practices. But it's moving very fast. The technology moves very fast because when I learned about NotebookLM, the features that Julie shared tonight are weren't there. So it's moving very quickly. And right now the teachers are getting there. They are learning more about it. And so I don't know when a course will be, in the program of studies for students to take just
Okay,
yet. Mhm.
that's fair. We can hope, but thank you, Principal Vincent. All right, are there any other questions from parents out there regarding Julie's presentation on AI? Okay. All right. Seems like everyone is so overwhelmed it has impacted their vocal cords. All right. Um, Going forward, Julie, as a closing to this first session, because I want to tell parents that are here, um, we're going to have another one of these sessions touching on AI and its use and how it can improve your kids' academic performance at the middle school level. Julie, fire away.
Yeah. So again, thank you for this opportunity. It's exciting to see, people interested in wanting to try it out. There are, I really focused on an opportunity with AI related to helping our kids with personalized learning. There's a whole host of other AI topics for families that I would love to share at some point as well. So there's a lot around kind of the threats and the weaknesses that I, have some resources around that I'd love to share just because, I think this is, I think a lot of people are scared of it, and rightfully so. And I firmly believe that we have a responsibility to steward our kids through this. And so I've, figured out ways to kind of model, like demonstrate bias and hallucination in ways that are impossible to ignore, that like a parent gets and a student gets. And, to just start to, it's overwhelming and I want to help make it accessible. So that's kind of one thing. If people are interested in that topic, that could be a follow-up. Another one is I could do a hands-on like this on productivity for parenting. So I could show you how I've used a tool like ChatGPT to just make things a lot easier for me. Like, I basically have a voice chat that I can go to and say, when are the holidays in February? Because so like I call it micro time savers.
Yeah.
So like I've figured out ways to like save 15 minutes here and there because I don't have to go find the calendar on my fridge or find it in my email. I can just ask ChatGPT. And so that's the kind of stuff I'd love to share with people too,
Yeah.
if you're open to it. So anyhow, I'm here as a resource. I want to, I came to LeBaron saying, how can I help? And I also am very excited about this too. Like I think there is great opportunity, and also being aware of the vulnerability is just as important.
Yes, it is. Julie, on behalf of the George Washington Middle School PTA, we want to thank you. This was definitely one of those things that just say, okay, I want to see more, I want to, because this can clearly make things better for all of us. So, Julie, once again, thank you very, very much.
You're welcome. Happy to be here, and I'm happy to be a resource and follow up with folks. I can LeBaron, do you want me to share my email in the chat, or do you want to just
Yes,
send it out? Okay.
yes.
Yeah, so you can reach out to me. I just saw Robert's comment. That's funny. I went to Georgia Tech for undergrad, and I was not an engineer, but I do think like I think it's all coming full circle. So yeah, you can reach me at julie.kelleher@gmail.com. And I would love, just like Sue shared that use case of like, hey, I'm curious about science fair stuff. I would love to try to figure out these things with you too. Like I
Okay.
love to just kind of tinker and problem solve.
Okay. That works. Okay. Julie, once again, thank you very much. And thank you to all the parents who are here assembled. Once again, the PTA, we're focusing on trying to make or trying to be an effective resource for you and to make things easier for your kids at the middle school level through you. Hopefully, we are going to rather have more sessions like this throughout the year. But thank you for attending because there is more to come. With that said, I want to close out tonight's George Washington Middle School PTA meeting. And thank you all again and hope to see you soon.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.